And hello, everybody. Welcome to Lyndhurst Community News, where today is Wednesday, October 9th, 2024. And I hope everybody's having a wonderful week. We've certainly had some spectacular weather. This past weekend was an amazing weekend with so much going on around town. We had the Clam Barbecue at the American Legion, which was a wonderful success. We had a live band. The weather couldn't have been better. And the weather was just as good on Sunday for the Classic Antique Car Show. A whole wonderful weekend. I hope you got out there and were able to enjoy the weather and enjoy everything going on around the township. And don't forget, if you have any news from your club, your organization, your church, your school, your team, or if you have birthdays and anniversaries of note, send them to LyndhurstCommunityNews@gmail.com. You'll find that email address along with any other contact information that we mention here regarding anything around town in the description box below the video on our YouTube page. I know many of you watch it on Facebook, but if you want to get the contact information, click through and watch it on YouTube so you can get that information if you need it. All right, we're going to start off with sports like we always do, and what another big win for the Golden Bears football team. They beat Leonia Palisades Park this past Saturday, 48-0. This is like, I think, the third shutout game they've had. This is fantastic. Good going, guys, and the coaches. This is what a great season this is turning into. And this Saturday, the Bears will be away to face off with Garfield. So it'll be an away game, 1 p.m. this Saturday. So congratulations to the Bears. Again, what a great season this has been. And boys soccer defeated Nutley 1-0 and Paramus Catholic 8-0. And of course, our girls volleyball team, who've been having an amazing banner season, they beat Hoboken in 2 games, which were 25-8 and 25-20. They beat Harrison in 2 games, 25-10 and 25-11. They are now 16-2 for the season. What a great year for these kids. This is great. And we want to congratulate Kiana Marazan for becoming the first Lyndhurst High School volleyball player to record 1,000 assists in her career. That's wonderful. Congratulations, Kiana. And, of course, girls soccer beat Weehawken 6-0. So another great week for the Bears, and congratulations to all the players and the coaches. And that's all I've got for sports this week. And, of course, we're coming up to the annual Halloween Parade. That's right. Commissioner John Montillo, Director of the Department of Parks and Recreation, has announced that the annual parade will be held on Saturday, October 26th, with a rain date of Sunday, October 27th. Hopefully we won't have any rain. We haven't had any rain. After having so much rain, it's been quite dry out there. But anyway, the festivities will start at 1 p.m. in the Town Hall Park, which is on Delafield Avenue, and that's where the trick-or-treaters will assemble for the parade. All the children will be given a goodie bag, and there will be a photographer from Mini Make Believe to take free photo portraits of the children from 1 p.m. till 2:30 p.m. And also, as we announced last week, if you haven't registered to vote and yet you want to vote in the upcoming November election, the last day to do so is October 15th. Now, the Lyndhurst Township Clerk's office is going to stay open on Tuesday, October 15th until 9 p.m. This way, if you're at work all day and you haven't had a chance, you can get there in the evening. That is the last day to vote for the general election on November 5th. So don't forget, go to the clerk's office to register. And also, if you need to get your annual flu shot, you can go right to the health department here in Lyndhurst under the direction of Public Affairs Commissioner Karen Haggerty and Health Coordinator Janine Barone. They will be having 2 clinics, one on October 16th from 9 a.m. to 5:30 p.m., and a second one on October 23rd from, again, 9 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. The Lyndhurst Health Department is located at 253 Stuyvesant Avenue. If you have any questions, you may call them at 201-804-2500 and call them to make an appointment. This way you're not waiting. And we received this from the Lyndhurst Elks. They are having a cigar and bourbon tasting night. That's going to be Friday, October 25th from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. Now, the Lyndhurst Elks are located at 251 Park Avenue. It's $40 for an entry, for which you will receive 2 cigars, as well as 5 tastings. Now, if you want to have tickets, you can email, and I'll leave the email address in the description box below. So, if you like bourbon and cigars, don't forget the Lyndhurst Elks, Friday, October 25th. Okay, now, you know when I end this program every week, I always remind you all to check the batteries on your smoke detectors and your carbon monoxide detectors. And that request always comes from members of the Lyndhurst Fire Department, and I always try to remind everyone that we have a volunteer fire department here in the township. So this week is National Fire Prevention Week. And I have a little bit of history on how this all had begun, which I want to share with you. And I also want to thank former Lyndhurst Fire Chief Louis Pippon for giving me this information. And so since 1922, the National Fire Protection Agency, has sponsored the public observance of Fire Prevention Week. In 1925, President Calvin Coolidge proclaimed Fire Prevention Week a national observance, making it the longest-running public health observance in our country. Now, during Fire Prevention Week, children, adults, and teachers learn how to stay safe in case of a fire. Firefighters provide life-saving public education in an effort to drastically decrease casualties caused by fires. Fire Prevention Week is observed each year during the week of October 9th in commemoration of the Great Chicago Fire, which began on October 8th, 1871, and caused devastating damage. This horrific this horrible fire killed more than 250 people, and it left 100,000 people homeless. And it destroyed more than 17,400 structures, burning more than 2,000 acres of land. Now, you have to understand, too, back in those days, Chicago was pretty much built out of wood, and that included the sidewalks were wooden. And they would use sawdust to line the streets to soak up dampness. And they were going through a drought at the time. So you could see how just lighting a match in that town had to have been very serious. And unfortunately, that's what happened. And we learned a great deal from that. And now, of course, back then, we didn't have the fire equipment or the training or the resources that we do today. But nevertheless, the firemen got rid of it. Now, I'm going to leave a link in the description box below the video on YouTube to another YouTube video. It's very short. It's only about 7 minutes long. It will teach you all about the Great Chicago Fire and the history of what we've learned from it and the legacy of it all as well. And it's only 7 minutes, so I highly recommend you check it out. It's very informative. And again, thank you, Louis Pippon, for giving me this information, because those of you who have children, they'll be visiting the fire department this week. I remember when I was a child, every year, Fire Prevention Week, going down to the fire department where they would teach us about all sorts of things to go inspect in our home to make sure, like paint cans weren't being stored near heat devices, that we weren't overloading our circuits, our plugs. So a lot of great things that we learned that children learn even more these days because we know more than we used to know. So that's this week, and check it out. Great information. And remember to check those batteries on those smoke detectors. They didn't have those back then. So we're very fortunate that we have the technology today to nip these in the bud. It's very rare that we get a full working fire anymore. They are very rare, thank God. Okay, well, that's about it for this week, folks. Short news week, but a great week nevertheless. Wonderful things going on with our teams in town, and tons of great events around the community as well. So don't forget to send us your news to lyndhurstcommunitynews@gmail.com. And that brings us to the end. Once again, as I always remind everybody, that a community is not its roads, its buildings, or its homes. A community is its people. Get out to know your neighbors. Take care and look after your elderly neighbors. We're all going to be there one day with the help of God. Keep Lyndhurst the great community it always has been. This is Brian Haggerty, and I will see you next week. And may God bless you, and God bless Lyndhurst.